Power is not something handed to you like a gift, wrapped neatly and placed into your lap. Power is not waiting for you in a corner, waiting to be discovered by chance. Power is not given. It is claimed, it is earned, it is seized, it is wrestled out of the grip of hesitation and fear. The world does not reward the timid, it rewards the relentless, the ones who refuse to wait for permission, the ones who refuse to bow to circumstances, the ones who take action while others stand still. If you want to rise, if you want to dominate, if you want to create a life where your voice is heard and your influence is felt, then you must understand this truth. No one is coming to hand you the crown. You must step forward, claim it, and fight for it. Too many people spend their lives waiting. They wait for the right opportunity. They wait for someone to notice their talent. They wait for the world to give them a green light. But waiting is a trap. Opportunities are not given to the passive. They are recognized and taken by those who are ready. Power never bows to hesitation. It responds to conviction, to action, to courage. When you stop waiting and start claiming, that is when you begin to transform. Think about history. Every great leader, every revolutionary, every visionary who shifted the world did not wait for an invitation. They didn't ask for permission. They looked at the impossible and said, "This belongs to me." They took control when others were paralyzed by fear. They claimed power not because someone gave it to them, but because they decided they were strong enough, disciplined enough, and determined enough to own it. That same power lives inside you, but it will stay dormant until you decide to unleash it. Claiming power does not mean arrogance. It does not mean stepping on others to rise higher. It means stepping into your own strength, refusing to shrink yourself, refusing to settle for mediocrity. It means standing tall in the face of resistance, refusing to compromise your vision. The world may not believe in you at first, but when you claim your power with consistency and discipline, the world has no choice but to take notice. Respect is not demanded. It is commanded by the force of your actions. You will face resistance because power always meets resistance. The moment you decide to claim what is yours, you will feel the weight of doubt, both from within yourself and from others who don't believe you have what it takes. But power is not given, and so it must be fought for. This fight will test your patience, your endurance, and your will. But those who endure, those who stay in the fight when it gets hard, are the ones who rise. Every day is a battlefield. You wake up and life presents you with choices to rise or to remain, to push forward or to surrender, to claim your power or to give it away. And every small decision you make builds a future. When you discipline yourself to act with strength, to train your body, to sharpen your mind, to build your character, you are quietly claiming power. Each rep in the gym, each page you read, each moment of sacrifice compounds into strength. You may not see it at first, but every brick you lay builds the fortress of your future. Do not expect anyone to hand you greatness. Do not expect the world to feel sorry for you or to give you shortcuts. Greatness is not inherited, it is forged. Power is not gifted, it is seized, and it is seized by those who are willing to do what others will not. While others complain, you work. While others quit, you keep going. While others look for approval, you move in silence, building your empire step by step. The truth is simple: life does not owe you anything. No one is obligated to give you success, respect, or recognition, and that is exactly why you must claim it. When you embrace this truth, you stop waiting and you start creating. You stop asking, "When will my time come?" And you start declaring, "My time is now." Your power is inside you, but it will stay hidden until you demand more from yourself. Until you decide that excuses are no longer enough. Until you decide that the pain of discipline is far better than the pain of regret. Until you stand up with unshakable belief and say, "I will not wait for the world to give me my chance. I will make my chance." That is when power begins to move through you. Remember, power is not given. It is claimed by the strong, the relentless, the disciplined, the fearless, and that can be you. Rise, claim it, and don't let go. Every challenge that stands in your way is not just an obstacle meant to break you. It is a doorway meant to build you. Too many people run from challenges because they see only the pain, the struggle, the resistance. But the truth is that every challenge carries inside it a hidden opportunity, a chance to rise higher, to grow stronger, to become the kind of person capable of handling even greater victories. The challenge itself is not the enemy, it is the gift, the test, the fire that forges you into something greater than you were before. Life will never lay out a smooth path for you. The world is not designed to make things easy. It is designed to test your limits, to push you to the edge, to see how much you are willing to endure in order to reach your destiny. When you understand that every difficulty you face is actually shaping you, preparing you, and positioning you for something greater, you stop resenting the struggle and you start embracing it. Look back at your life. Think about the moments when you were tested, when you thought you couldn't go on, when the weight felt unbearable, and yet here you are, stronger, wiser, more resilient. The challenge that once felt like it would destroy you is now a story of survival, a proof that you can endure more than you ever believed. That is the hidden opportunity, growth, strength, unshakable confidence that no matter what comes next, you can rise again. Challenges are not there to block your path. They are there to carve your path. They separate those who dream from those who act. They filter out the ones who quit from the ones who persist. Every time you push through a challenge, you are building a new layer of power within yourself. You are learning skills, patience, discipline, and most importantly, belief in your own ability to overcome. That belief is priceless. It is the foundation on which every great achievement is built. When you shift your perspective, when you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Everything changes. Instead of being crushed by setbacks, you begin to see them as stepping stones. Instead of fearing difficulties, you welcome them because you know that within each one lies the chance to expand your strength. The world cannot stop a person who sees every obstacle as fuel, who sees every storm as preparation, who sees every failure as education. Think of the greatest athletes, leaders, and innovators. Their paths were not free of hardship. In fact, their lives were filled with relentless challenges. But they understood that without resistance, there is no growth. Without struggle, there is no strength. Without pressure, there are no diamonds. They didn't avoid challenges. They embraced them because they knew that inside each trial was the very opportunity that would set them apart. When you are faced with a challenge, you have two choices: retreat or rise. Retreating gives you comfort in the moment, but regret in the future. Rising demands effort, sacrifice, and pain in the short term, but it gives you power, growth, and pride that lasts forever. The ones who rise are the ones who change their lives. The ones who rise are the ones who inspire others. The ones who rise are the ones who transform challenge into opportunity. Every time you encounter resistance, you must remind yourself that this is the training ground. This is where champions are built. You are not losing, you are learning. You are not stuck, you are being shaped. And when you look back, you will realize that the moments you cursed, the hardships you hated, the setbacks that broke you open were the very things that made you unstoppable. That is the hidden opportunity, transformation. Do not pray for an easy life. Do not wish for days without problems. Wish instead for the strength to endure, for the courage to face the fire, for the wisdom to see the opportunity inside the challenge. Because the reality is this: the bigger the challenge, the greater the reward. The harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. The more resistance you face, the stronger you become. So when life throws you down, when it puts walls in front of you, when it dares you to quit, do not surrender. Stand tall, because you are being prepared for something bigger than you can imagine. Smile at the challenge because you know what it really is. It is not your enemy. It is your opportunity. Every challenge is a hidden opportunity, and those who dare to embrace it will rise to levels they never dreamed possible. You are one of them. Rise. The respect is not something you can demand from the world. It is something you must earn through your actions, your discipline, and your consistency. You can shout, you can threaten, you can beg for respect, but none of that will last. True respect cannot be forced. It is not handed out like a favor. It is built brick by brick through the way you carry yourself, the way you rise in adversity, the way you live when no one is watching. Respect is not demanded, it is earned. The mistake so many make is believing that respect is automatic. They think the world owes it to them because of their position, their title, or their words. But respect does not bow to empty noise. It bows only to proof. It bows only to those who show strength through consistency, through sacrifice, through discipline. Anyone can speak, anyone can make promises, but not everyone can live in a way that commands respect. The difference is action. Earning respect starts with respect for yourself. If you do not respect your own time, your own body, your own goals, then why should anyone else respect them? Respect is a mirror. The world reflects back to you the standards you set for yourself. If you cut corners, if you live with excuses, if you allow weakness to guide you, then people will see it and they will treat you the way you treat yourself. But when you live with integrity, when you hold yourself accountable, when you demand more from yourself every single day, the world cannot ignore it. That is when respect begins to build. Respect is earned in silence. It comes from the grind that no one sees. It comes from the early mornings when you rise before the sun. It comes from the long nights when you push through fatigue while others sleep. It comes from the moments of sacrifice when you choose discipline over comfort. People may not see those hours, but they will see the results. And those results will speak louder than any demand for respect ever could. The truth is, people respect strength, not just physical strength, but the strength of character, the strength of vision, the strength of persistence. When you fall and rise again, when you take criticism and turn it into fuel, when you lead not with words, but with example, people take notice. They may not say it out loud, but deep inside they feel it. They respect the one who keeps moving forward when everyone else has given up. Respect is also built through how you treat others. Power without humility becomes arrogance, and arrogance destroys respect. The strongest leaders, the ones who are truly respected, are the ones who combine power with principle. They do not belittle others to prove their strength. They lift others up, they inspire. They show that strength is not about crushing the weak, but about protecting them. That balance between power and humility is rare, and that is why it commands such deep respect. Do not confuse fear with respect. You can force someone to fear you, but fear fades the moment your power weakens. Respect lasts because it is rooted in admiration, in trust, in recognition of who you are at your core. Fear may keep people silent, but respect makes people follow you willingly. Respect inspires loyalty, not because they have to give it, but because they choose to give it. That is the difference. Every day you are either building respect or losing it. Each decision you make shapes how others see you. Do you keep your word even when it costs you? Do you stand tall when challenges hit? Do you push yourself when it would be easier to quit? Do you carry yourself with discipline or do you bend to weakness? Respect is earned in these decisions, moment by moment, action by action. There is no shortcut. There is no instant formula. You cannot demand respect and expect it to last. You must live in a way that makes respect unavoidable. You must become so disciplined, so consistent, so strong in your actions that respect comes naturally. And once you have earned it, you must continue to live in a way that keeps it, because respect is not something you gain once and hold forever. It is something you must protect every single day. So stop demanding respect with words. Start earning it with action. Build it through your discipline, through your sacrifices, through your integrity. Stand tall in who you are. Push forward no matter what, and live in such a way that people have no choice but to respect you. That is the only path that lasts. Respect is not demanded, it is earned. When the world doubts you, it is not the end, it is the beginning. Doubt is the fuel that ignites greatness. When people look at you and say you are not strong enough, not smart enough, not capable enough, that is your signal to rise. The world's doubt is not a prison, it is a challenge. It is an opportunity to prove that you are more than their expectations, more than their limited vision of who you are. When the world doubts you, prove them wrong. You must understand that doubt will always come. It comes from strangers, it comes from society, and often it comes from the people closest to you, but doubt is not always about you. People project their own limitations onto others. They cannot imagine themselves rising, so they tell you that you cannot. They cannot imagine breaking barriers, so they say it is impossible, but their doubt is not your destiny. Their doubt is simply noise, and your mission is to silence it with results. There is a fire inside you that only becomes visible when it is tested. Doubt is the spark that brings that fire alive. When someone says you cannot do it, you must train harder, work longer, push further, not out of anger, but out of discipline, not to argue with them, but to show through your actions that their words hold no weight against your determination. Proving them wrong is not about shouting back. It is about doing the work quietly, relentlessly, until your success speaks louder than any voice of doubt ever could. The most dangerous thing you can do when the world doubts you is to believe them. If you let their words become your truth, you will never rise. You must fight against that. You must build unshakable belief in yourself, even when no one else believes, especially when no one else believes. Because if you stand alone in faith, if you stand alone in conviction, you will build a strength that no external validation could ever give you. The greatest victories are born in silence, in those lonely hours where it is just you against the doubt of the world. Every champion, every leader, every great figure in history was doubted. They were laughed at, ridiculed, underestimated, and yet they endured. They used that doubt as motivation to go further, to prove that greatness is not determined by public opinion, but by personal conviction. You are no different. If the world doubts you, you are standing in the same place where every great person once stood, and that means you have the same chance to rise as they did. Proving them wrong does not mean you focus on the critics. It means you focus on the work. You train until your body is unrecognizable from what it once was. You study until your knowledge is undeniable. You persist until your results are too big to be ignored. You put so much energy into growth, into discipline, into action. That doubt is crushed under the weight of your success. The world doubts words, but the world cannot doubt results. There will be moments when the doubt feels heavy, when it tempts you to quit, when it whispers that maybe they were right about you. Those are the critical moments. Those are the crossroads. If you quit then, you hand them the victory. If you rise then, you create a future that is unstoppable. The very moment when doubt is at its loudest is the moment you must push the hardest. That is how you prove them wrong, not by avoiding doubt, but by confronting it head on and refusing to let it dictate your future. When you finally rise, when you finally achieve what they said you couldn't, there will be silence. Those who doubted will have nothing left to say, and deep inside they will respect you. Not because you demanded it, not because you argued for it, but because you showed them what relentless focus and discipline can create. That respect is sweeter than anything else because it was earned in the fire of doubt. Remember, this doubt is not your enemy. It is your weapon. It is the pressure that builds your strength. It is the resistance that sharpens your edge. It is the force that pushes you beyond your limits. When the world doubts you, do not shrink. Stand taller. Work harder. Believe deeper. Prove them wrong, not with words, not with excuses, but with actions so undeniable that even your enemies cannot look away. When the world doubts you, it is giving you the greatest opportunity of your life, the chance to rise, the chance to silence them, the chance to show what is possible. Do not waste it. Prove them wrong. True leadership is not about titles, positions, or empty authority. True leadership is about courage. It is about standing firm when others hesitate, about speaking when silence feels safer, about moving forward when the path is uncertain. True leadership requires bold moves. It requires a willingness to step into the unknown, to risk failure, to put everything on the line for something greater than yourself. Without boldness, leadership is hollow. Without boldness, leadership does not inspire. It is only through daring actions that real leaders are forged. The world does not remember the cautious. It does not follow those who only do what is easy. The world remembers the ones who took risk, who acted when the outcome was unclear, who believed so deeply in their vision that they were willing to stand alone if necessary. Boldness is the heartbeat of leadership. It is the quality that separates those who talk from those who transform. Being bold does not mean being reckless. It does not mean leaping without thought. It means having the wisdom to see the bigger picture and the courage to take the steps others fear. It means leading not by following the crowd, but by charting a new path when the old one no longer serves. It means being willing to face criticism, doubt, and even failure, because you know that growth and progress never come without risk. True leadership is tested in times of uncertainty, when the pressure is high, when the world feels like it is falling apart. People look to leaders. They do not look for timid words or careful excuses. They look for decisive action. They look for someone willing to make the bold move, the move that no one else has the courage to make. This is why leadership is not for the faint of heart. It requires a strength of conviction that refuses to break under the weight of responsibility. Bold moves inspire. When you take risks, when you act with courage, you give permission to others to do the same. People are drawn to leaders who dare, because boldness awakens boldness in others. A leader who hides in comfort will never unlock the potential of their people. But a leader who steps forward with vision, with courage, with boldness, such a leader lights a fire that spreads far beyond themselves. But boldness is not a one-time act. It is a way of life. It is the decision to continually stretch beyond your comfort zone, to take actions that challenge your limits, to push forward when the easier choice would be to remain still. Every bold move builds momentum. Every bold move teaches you that you are capable of more than you thought. And with every bold move, respect, trust, and influence grow. There will always be fear. Fear is the companion of every bold decision. The difference between a leader and everyone else is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. A true leader feels the fear and acts anyway. They know that fear signals importance, that the presence of fear means the moment matters. They refuse to let fear dictate their choices. Instead, they use it as a signal to step forward even stronger. Leadership is sacrifice. To make bold moves, you must be willing to face loss, rejection, and failure. But that sacrifice is what makes leadership powerful. The one who is willing to carry the weight, to risk the fall, to absorb the criticism for the sake of the greater vision, that is the leader people will follow. Because bold moves are not about ego, they are about service. They are about creating a future that is bigger than yourself. Every great breakthrough in history was the result of someone's bold move. Every revolution, every invention, every movement that changed the world began because one person or one group of people dared to act when others stood still. If you want to lead, you must be willing to join that tradition. You must be willing to act in a way that shakes comfort, challenges convention, and inspires action. The truth is simple. If you want to lead, you cannot play it safe. Playing it safe keeps you small. It keeps you invisible. It keeps you forgettable. True leadership requires bold moves. It requires risk, courage, vision, and unshakable belief. It requires stepping into the fire, not away from it. It requires doing what others cannot so that you can inspire them to become what they never thought possible. So stand tall. Make the move that scares you. Take the step that feels uncertain. Choose the path that demands courage. Because leadership is not about comfort, it is about boldness. And true leadership will always require bold moves. The future does not belong to those who hide, to those who hesitate, to those who let fear chain them in place. The future belongs to the fearless. It belongs to the ones who dare to act when the outcome is uncertain, to the ones who step forward even when their knees shake, to the ones who face the unknown with determination instead of retreat. Fear will always exist, but the fearless are not those without fear. They are the ones who refuse to let fear decide their destiny. Every opportunity you will ever face is guarded by fear. That fear is the gatekeeper that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Most people turn back when they reach that gate. They feel the weight of fear and they retreat into safety. into the comfort zone, into the illusion of security, but the fearless push forward. They recognize that the life they dream of, the future they desire, lies on the other side of that fear, and so they step through it, not because it is easy, but because they refuse to let fear dictate their future. Fear is powerful, but so is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act in spite of it. Every time you choose courage, you weaken fear's grip. Every time you face what you once avoided, you grow stronger. And with every step of courage, your future expands. You become capable of more, worthy of more, prepared for more. The fearless are not superhuman. They are simply those who make courage a habit. The future demands boldness. It will not wait for you to feel ready. It will not wait until your fear disappears. It rewards those who act while afraid, those who refuse to wait for perfect conditions, those who know that hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever will. The fearless understand that failure is not the end. Failure is feedback. Failure is progress. Failure is the proof that they dared to try while others stayed still. And because of that, the fearless are always moving forward while the fearful remain trapped in place. Look at history. Every breakthrough, every movement, every revolution was born from fearlessness. The fearless challenged the status quo. They questioned what others accepted. They risked ridicule, rejection, and even their lives for a vision of something greater. And because of their courage, the world changed. The future was built on their fearlessness. And now the same choice stands before you. Will you let fear write your story, or will you claim your future by facing it head on? The truth is that fear never truly disappears. No matter how strong you become, fear will rise when you face new levels, new challenges, new opportunities. But fear does not have to control you. The fearless acknowledge it, accept it, and move anyway. They understand that fear is a compass pointing toward growth. The very thing you are afraid of is often the thing you must do to step into your next level. The future belongs to those who listen to that signal and walk into it with unshakable resolve. Fear thrives in silence, in hesitation, in inaction, but it dies in movement. The moment you take that first step, fear begins to lose its power. The moment you keep moving despite the doubts, fear shrinks into the background. The fearless are not the ones who never feel afraid. They are the ones who refuse to stop moving forward. They use action as their weapon, and that action shapes the future. The fearless also understand that fear is contagious, but so is courage. When you step into your fear, when you show strength in the face of uncertainty, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage can awaken courage in others. This is why the fearless lead, why the fearless build legacies, why the fearless shape the future. Because they do not just change their own lives, they inspire others to rise with them. The future will not wait for the hesitant. It does not reward those who hold back. It will belong to the ones who charge forward, the ones who see fear and choose to act anyway, the ones who believe that the pain of regret is far worse than the discomfort of courage. The future is not kind to the fearful, but it opens wide for the fearless. So when fear whispers that you are not enough, rise louder and say, I will try anyway. When fear warns you of failure, remind yourself that failure is a teacher, not an enemy. When fear tempts you to stay in the comfort zone, remember that comfort kills progress. Step forward, move boldly, live courageously. The future belongs to the fearless. It belongs to those who refuse to bow to fear, those who embrace the unknown, those who act with courage when it matters most. Be fearless. Not because fear is gone, but because your vision is greater. Be fearless, not because the path is easy, but because the future is worth it. Stand tall, step forward, and claim the future that belongs to the fearless.